Hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite, or Mike. I am Jim Ross, here with Trini Kwan and with Wade Barrett. And today on Dynamite or Mike, we're going to see, well, believe it or not, we're going to see the TWF heavyweight fighter and the world heavyweight fighter Roman Reigns here. Well, Trini Kwan says, I don't know, Jim Ross, if it's a good thing we're going to be seeing. I don't know, Jim Ross, if it's a good thing we're going to be seeing Roman Reigns here. He's always a heel, always a creep, and always a bully. Yeah. Well, I could tell you one thing Wade Barrett says about Roman Reigns. When you're the TWF heavyweight fighter and world heavyweight fighter, you can do what you want when you want. No need of laws or oversight. Wade Barrett says, so I'd give all the onlook to the blood run, or the blood way. Well, it's Calistro. Alright. So, everyone recalls that I was the first one that I was a former two-time world heavyweight fighter. Won it the first time from AJ Styles, lost it to Dennis Rodman, then I won it back from Dennis Rodman and lost it to Roman Reigns. Alright, so, and I've been gone for some time, so I know everyone has either scathed, shamed, guilted, or slighted him in some way, and he plays it off. He likes to go around and call himself a kin leader, as if he's the head of everyone's kin. No need that they don't all have the same forekin or kin name or whatever, even if their forekin didn't come from the same lands or not. He also likes to give himself ranks like head of a board, as if he's the head of everyone's board, which is bullshit. Then he goes and calls himself a king, a kaiser, a overlord, a warlord, a highest leader, and a high leader, and, well, on top of all that, TWF heavyweight fighter and world heavyweight fighter, which are ranks he truly has, but everything else is just given to him. And like I scathed him and shamed him and guilted him and slighted him back in 2020, well, it's the same thing. He has Paulie Dangerously with him, who hasn't gone by that name since 2001, well, but who really fucking cares? Who behaves as if he's some kind of first Fane to some kind of kingdom or kaiserdom. Well, I wouldn't call it a folkreich. I'd call it a highest leaderdom. But that's how he behaves like. Then you got James Uso and Jason Uso, the brothers, who act as his, act as his body watchers. They act as a law-keepers, or as a landmite, or whatever the fuck they behave as if they're like that. They're the ones that help him win all of his matches more often than most of the time than not. So, yeah, Roman Reigns, you're no kin leader, you're no Kaiser or king or overlord or warlord or high leader, you're no head of no board. Yeah, drop the bullshit. Yeah, you are the TWF heavyweight fighter and world heavyweight fighter, but that's it. All those other ranks you give yourself is just bullshit. Bullshit that Paulie Dangerously made you believe, bullshit you made James and Jason believe. So, there you go. And how many more folks are dumb enough to buy into your bullshit kingdom, bullshit kaiserdom, bullshit warlorddom, bullshit overlorddom, bullshit high leaderdom, whatever your land might be. So come out here and tell me that I'm wrong about the whole scathing of you. And come out and you're, ah, shit. And you can come out, shit, come on, stand up. And you can come out in your Walgreens or Rite Aid or whatever offshoot happens to be. So you've been saying shit about me, huh? Once again, Calistro, we've been down this road before, back in 2020, YL. You would think you'd learned by now you can't beat me. And the whole shaming, scathing, guilting, and slighting, it's irksome. So, you say I'm not a kin leader, I'm not a high leader, I'm not a king or a kaiser or an overlord or a warlord. You say I'm not a head of no board. Well, I say I am. Roman, the only grounds to why you believe you are is because you believe the bullshit that Paulie dangerously told you sometime back in 2020 YL. Alright? The only grounds to why you believe it because you told your near kin, James' brother and Jason' brother, that sometime too, and they believed it. But beyond that, I don't think anyone else believes it. And sure, I'll give you a lot of thanks, because you are skilled, you are gifted, so I'll give you that, Roman Reigns. But if you think that means that you're greater than everyone else, you're not. You might somehow be kin to the Maiavillas and the Fatus and the Mafutas and the Johnsons, but that doesn't mean that you're greater anything. It just means you belong to a kin that happen to either be in football or wrestling. But let me tell you something. There isn't no thing called God setting. It's a thing called long-time booking, long-term writing. And that's what's happened to you. What happens to many folks. Call it what you want, but as soon as the booking and writing shifts, so goes that so-called God setting you like to talk about. And let's talk about the God setting. I mean, the truth is, yeah, you may have beat a lot of folks, but who was with you all the fucking time you did it? Paulie dangerously. Who were the two that always helped you out during a lot of your fights and matches? James Uso and Jason Uso, the brothers, right? You never did alone. Even when you were in the Shield, the first offshoot, the 2-4 offshoot, the third offshoot, you never did anything alone. You either had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose with you. So don't fucking behave as if you did anything on your own, because you never did. I'm going to be real earnest with you right now, Paulie dangerously says. Roman Reigns, it's true, he never really does anything alone. For most of his wrestling calling, he had Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose back him up. Yes, he does have Jason Uso and James Uso, the brothers, backing him up. But they never wrestle in the matches with him. At the end of the day, every match he's been in, either in WWE or TWF or SMW, the SMF, it's been either him by himself, beating every wrestler, every fighter, every overstar, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, you're right, wise man. You're right, First Fame. So, Calistro, what do you want? You want me to beat you again like I did all those other times back in 2020 YL? Only this time you'd be losing not only to the TWF heavyweight fighter, but the world heavyweight fighter too? Because we can always do that. And we don't have to yield for Astronema or Ecliptor. We don't have to yield for Godzilla either. We don't got to yield either for Xena or Cameron. We don't got to yield for Hunter Hearst Helmsley either. We don't got to yield for Gil Kim. Fuck. I mean, if that's what you want, we can do that. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to fight you, Roman Reigns. And I want to take away not only the TWF heavyweight winnings, but the world heavyweight winnings too. Because we all know you care about that a lot more than anything else. So, let's see, Astronema says, if I'm getting this right. Calistro, you want to face Roman Reigns for the TWF heavyweight winnings. and also the World Heavyweight winnings too, since one is now with the other, and one wins both. When one loses both, they lose both. I'll give that to you. So here today, it's going to be Kalisto fighting Roman Reigns for the TWF Heavyweight winnings and the World Heavyweight winnings, Astronema says. And another thingy clipper says, both winnings are still alive. When one wins the match, they keep one. When one loses, they lose both of them. Just to let both you understand how it goes. And so Roman Reigns, so Clipper says, just to let you all understand, that's the oversight we far underneath now. And Astronema says, so we can make sure this is an even fight. There'll be no James Uso, no Jason Uso, no one else from your kin. And, well, besides, we all know your first Fane, your overseer, Paulie Dangerously. He better not be doing anything either. Astronema goes. So Clipper says, we're going to start the match now. Well, we just heard from Astronema, Jim Ross says, and from Ecliptor, and that means we're going to have the TWF Heavyweight winnings is going to be the TWF Heavyweight winnings and the World Heavyweight winnings are going to both be on stake here. Well, this is for the TWF Heavyweight winnings and the World Heavyweight winnings. First, he is the TWF Heavyweight fighter and the World Heavyweight fighter, Roman Reigns. And she is Kalisto. Ding ding ding. Well, we'll see what happens here. Kalisto has to give up her sword now. And she has to give up that knife. Because dagger is a French borrowed word. The English word would be knife. And now we can do this now, Jim Ross says. Well, Roman Reigns has been unbeaten since 2020 YL. No one has beaten him. He seems to be on a god setting, as he calls it, Jim Ross said. Trini Kwan said a god setting, more like long time booking, long time riding, Trini Kwan says. Be what it may be, need what it might be. Whatever you want to call it, Jim Ross says. He's still the TWF Heavyweight fighter, and now the TWF Heavyweight fighter and the World Heavyweight fighter now too. Jim Ross said, drop kick by Kalisto. I'll tell you what, Wade Barrett says, I don't know what you call it. I don't know if it has something to do with him, either believing himself, or either it has something to do with Paulie Dangerously. I don't know, Wade Barrett said. I just know he wins. And Kalisto right now, taking down Roman Reigns. Kalisto wants to become a three-time World Heavyweight fighter, Jim Ross says. Kalisto, who might be the Xena's world, the offshoot of Mankind. Jim Ross said, well, Trini Kwan said, and so far Roman Reigns hasn't really had an answer for anything Kalisto has done so far, Trini Kwan said. Wade Barrett said, the match is young, the fight is young. Oh, looks like it did. Roman Reigns just knocked her down. This is not going to be good now. Jim Ross said the Overman strike's coming. Overman strike. Overman strike on Kalisto, Jim Ross says. Well, we all know, sadly, leads to the takedown, Trini Kwan says. Wade Barrett said, and if he's really in a bad mood, he might just put her in the sleeper hold, too. But I guess he doesn't have to. Now, Kalisto's boot's starting to come undone now. You gotta pull that boot back up. We win here. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner. And still the TWF Heavyweight fighter. And still the TWF Heavyweight fighter and World Heavyweight fighter, Roman Reigns. Well, Roman Reigns has beat Kalisto here today on Dynamite, or Might here, Jim Ross says. And for once, he wins a match without Jason Uso, or Jason Brother, without James and Jason Uso, or the brothers. Jim Ross says. Yeah, that might be true. He does beat Calistro, and he still is a TWF heavyweight fighter and a world heavyweight fighter. And I understand now that, Jim Ross says he beat Calistro again. And I think Calistro did have some goal. She did come into this thing, believing she was going to win the TWF heavyweight winnings for the first time, and she was going to win the world heavyweight winnings for the third time. But sadly, that seems to not be in the goal for Calistro here today, Jim Ross says. Well, that might be true, Trini Kwan said. And I don't know if you can say it's God setting or whatever he likes to call it, or him being this unbeatable, unstoppable, which I don't really truly believe in. Believe in. But whatever it is, Calistro didn't win. Well, I know one thing, Wade Barrett says. Whatever you want to call it, long time writing, long time booking, God setting, whatever you want to call it, being unbeatable and unyieldable. I don't know. Well, I know Gorilla Monsoon now is now going to be talking with Roman Reigns here, and we'll see how that works out. Alright, Roman Reigns. You once again beat Calistro, and you kept the TWF heavyweight winnings and the world heavyweight winnings. Is it God setting, or is it long time booking or writing? Well, Gorilla Monsoon, call it what you want to call it. I call it a God setting. Some might call it long time booking and writing. But whatever it is, I beat Calistro. I did it by myself. I didn't have my near kin James and my near kin Jason help me. I didn't even have my outstanding first Fane and overseer help me. I did it. You see, all I had to do was go overman strike, a takedown, 1, 2, 3. And so Calistro goes back on the list as wanting to beaten. And it's getting kind of shame by this time. It's kind of sad. Because they could throw everyone at me and I could just beat them. That's how good I am. Well, I'll tell you one thing, Roman Reigns. You might be good. You might be skilled and iffened. You might be skilled and gifted. You might belong to the Fatus and the Mayavias and the Mathutas and the Johnsons. But at the end of the day, every man takes a loss, and one day you will. Well, until that day happens, Gorilla Monsoon, Roman Reigns will still be the World Heavyweight Fighter and the TWF Heavyweight Fighter. And that's all I gotta say about that. Paulie dangerously says, and forgive us, we gotta go now. Well, that's my talk with Roman Reigns. That's my talk with Roman Reigns and Paulie dangerously. Back to you, Jim Ross. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Roman Reigns and Paulie dangerously here on Dynamite or Might. And it looks like it is all the time we got here for Dynamite or Might. I am Jim Ross. For Trini Kwan and Wade Barrett, we hope you like Dynamite or Might, and we'll see you tomorrow for Impact or Smash.